This is Glenn Campbell coming to you from Motel 6 in Abilene, Texas. I'm talking today about celebrity impersonators. That's right, celebrity impersonators, Elvis impersonators, Michael Jackson impersonators, Richard Nixon impersonators, you know, like in Vegas. Well, I just got back from Vegas. I spent a day at an Impersonators Convention. It's actually my second Impersonators Convention. You think of impersonators, this all sounds quite hokey, but I've actually become quite addicted. I don't really impersonate anybody, but the whole thing has become quite fascinating and meaningful to me. The whole impersonation community is really interesting to me, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you what's so important about impersonators, because in a certain sense, we're all impersonators. We're all trying to impersonate some celebrity. First, let me tell you about how this celebrity community works. At this convention in Las Vegas, there were about 65 impersonators, some of whom I've met before. There was Elizabeth Taylor, there was Richard Nixon, there was Michael Jackson. You know, it's all of these impersonators, all these people, who many of whom are dead ringers for the celebrity they're impersonating. Tony Bennett. So there are about 65 impersonators. Now, the impersonator community is divided. I divide it into two groups. There's the people who deliberately want to be impersonators. They go out there, they train, they decide that's what their career is going to be, and they may or may not look like a celebrity, but they've made a decision to do it. For example, Rich Little doesn't really look like any celebrity, but he made a decision to become an impersonator. That's half of the impersonator community. The other half are people who have been dragged into it kicking and screaming, who never wanted to be impersonators. It was just forced upon them. And it was forced upon them because they looked damn like the person they're impersonating. So people keep saying all their lives, oh, you look like Martha Stewart, oh, you look like James Bond, or you look like somebody or else. And these people spend a good portion of their life denying it. They don't want to be James Bond. They don't want to be Danny DeVito. They want to be themselves. And over a period of time, there's a reconciliation until they finally realize, okay, I'm not going to fight it anymore. Maybe I can become James Bond. Maybe I can make a little bit of money. Instead of fighting the image that my body conveys, I'm going to give in and do it. And then they try to make a go of it. Some of them are just into it for fun. Some of them are out to make money. Now, how this applies to all of us is we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same dilemma. We are all start out as cute little babies. Everyone is a cute little baby. As we grow up, when we hit puberty, our body changes and we become somebody else. A ballerina and a sumo wrestler are both adorable little babies as babies. As they grow, their bodies change and they become different people outwardly. And because of that, people start responding to them differently. People respond differently to someone who looks like a sumo wrestler than they do to someone who looks like a ballerina, even though deep inside they're the same person. We all face this. As we're growing up, we find that we're not just kids, we're men or women. And babies don't really realize that if they're male or female. But over time, we become male or female. We become big and beefy, or we become pretty, or we become ugly. All of this is something that we don't have any control over, something that we have to come to grips with. The difference between the impersonators and the rest of us is the impersonators really know that they're playing a role. When you go into your role as James Bond or Britney Spears, you know you're going on stage and playing a role. And you can turn it off. The rest of us, as we grow into our bodies and start reacting to the way people react to our bodies, we begin to live the role and we really don't recognize as well that we're playing a role. I got stuck in this here body, which turns out to be male, and not too bad. I'm fairly happy with it, but I had to come to grips, have to come to grips with who I am, who I'm projecting to the world. And that's a difficult and painful process, because people respond to your outward appearance. You can't help that. When people first meet you and you look like a sumo wrestler, they're going to respond to you in a certain way. Even if inside your personality is nothing like that, they start responding in a certain way, and you respond to their response, and you become a sumo wrestler. People become male or female. That's not something that's inside them. That's something that's imposed from the outside. Yes, men and women have different brains, might react to the world in different ways, but these roles that we're playing, these are roles that come about because our bodies change through genetics, through hormones. People see our bodies and start reacting to our bodies in different ways than they did when we were children. Celebrities are going through a lot of, celebrity impersonators, you can see are going through a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of difficulty when you play James Bond on stage of distinguishing yourself from the celebrity persona that you're playing. It's a big conflict. You can see that in the celebrity world. People play Britney Spears and then start acting like Britney Spears. It's hard to find that boundary between the character that you're playing and who you really are inside. But celebrities, as I say, have an easier time of it because they know they're playing a role, whereas we don't. The rest of us non-celebrity impersonators, we begin to believe over time that I am a male, that I am a sumo wrestler or a ballerina. We are unable to distinguish this role that's been imposed upon us from who we really are, who we really want to be. We can fight it. Many of us fight it. But ultimately, you've got to find some middle ground. In the internet world, we're beginning to be able to get away from that. On the internet, you can create an avatar. You can create from scratch any personality that you want. And it helps us distinguish between bodies and personalities. What really counts in this world is personality. What really counts to you and me really counts if you're hiring someone, if you fall in love with someone. It doesn't matter what they look like. It matters what their personality is inside, because looks last for 15 minutes. Personality lasts forever. We see a sumo wrestler, we think he's a dumb cluck because he's big and beefy. We think that he's not going to do certain kinds of jobs because of his body. And we typecast him the moment we meet him and don't see him for his personality. And sadly, his personality tends to conform to that, conform to our expectations. So when I go to these celebrities, it's really kind of funny. Because I went to the Celebrity Impersonator Convention yesterday, and I posed with Forrest Gump and Captain Jack Sparrow, and I played roles with them, and Richard Nixon. I played roles with them, and I'm really beginning now to feel comfortable with my own body. Just from that experience, I feel more comfortable with my own body after going to this Impersonators Convention than I did before I went. I realized that I could be an impersonator. There's an actor called J.K. Simmons, a character actor whose name you don't know, but he's been in a lot of movies and you've seen him. And I think I look just like him. And I'm prepared to be an impersonator of him if he ever goes big time. But I'm also comfortable impersonating myself. I'm comfortable being myself, being a male. But I realize I'm really not a male. You know, I'm just a baby. I found myself stuck in a male body, and I'm willing to play the role in public, But you, if you know me, you shouldn't see me as male. You should see my personality, my unique personality. So let's try to look behind the facade. Not only look behind the facade of others, but look in the mirror and say, is that really me? You don't want to be playing the role just because you look the role. You got to step back and do what's right. Personality. Build a personality. What matters is you build a personality, you build a set of rules for how to behave, and then the body that you have, you've just got to work with it to bring it into sync with this personality that you have inside. I'm doing it now with video, trying to figure out how to project myself in video, project what's inside in video in spite of this primitive expression device that I have. I've got to work with it, but this face, this body, this isn't me. What is me is how I behave, my experience, what I've collected in my brain over the years. And hopefully I can convey that on the internet without my body getting in the way. But since the celebrity convention, I'm also more comfortable conveying it using this particular avatar right now. So what is this? This is an avatar. Just like online, this is the avatar I've been stuck in, what my soul has been inserted in. And I have to live with it. But that's not me. What's me is the habits that I have inside. So check out the Impersonators. You should come to the convention next year, if there is one. Celebrity Impersonator Convention. Oh, if you look down below on the comments on this YouTube video, you'll see all my photos from the 2 conventions I went to and links and all that stuff. So look down there, click on the links and check out the Impersonators. They're great people. They're my friends. I'm happy to have the experience. Talk to you later.